You wake up at 10 a.m. No alarm, no rush, no reason to get up. You check your phone, scroll, close it, open it again. You tell yourself, I'll send applications today. But the couch pulls you back, and the hours dissolve, like they were never real. And here's the part nobody warns you about. Unemployment isn't just killing your bank account. It's killing your brain. Not metaphorically, not emotionally, structurally. Your brain is physically shrinking right now while you wait for a callback. And by the time you finally get the job, you may not be the same person who applied. In 2009, a study published in the journal Psychosomatic Medicine measured cortisol levels in people who had been unemployed for more than 3 months. The results were staggering. Cortisol, the brain's primary stress hormone, was chronically elevated, not spiking and falling like normal stress, constantly elevated. A flat, toxic river of chemical anxiety flooding the brain, every hour, every day. Here's why that matters. Short-term cortisol is useful. It sharpens focus. It speeds reaction time. It keeps you alive during a crisis. But chronic cortisol, the kind that comes from weeks and months of uncertainty, does the opposite. It attacks the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, the region that converts short-term experience into long-term learning. After prolonged exposure, the hippocampus doesn't just slow down, it physically shrinks. A 2014 study at Yale University using MRI brain scans found that individuals who experienced prolonged unemployment showed measurable reductions in gray matter volume, specifically in the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus. Translation: the parts of your brain responsible for decision-making, planning, and memory, the exact skills you need to get a job, are the first ones unemployment destroys. Your brain is eating itself, and the meal ticket is your future. But cortisol is only the first weapon. The second one is more dangerous because you won't even feel it happening. Here's a question most people never think to ask. Why is it so hard to do anything when you're unemployed, even things that have nothing to do with work? You can't read. You can't exercise. You can barely shower some days. And it's not laziness. It's neurochemistry. The brain's motivation system runs on dopamine. But dopamine doesn't come from getting rewards. It comes from anticipating them. When you have a job, your brain has a predictable loop. Effort to result to reward. Every day. Over and over. Your alarm goes off. You commute. You work. You get paid. Your brain learns. Effort leads to outcome. Unemployment destroys that loop. You send 50 applications. No response. You go to an interview. Silence. You rewrite your resume for the 10th time. Nothing. Effort leads to no result, leads to no reward. And after enough repetitions, your brain makes a devastating calculation. Effort is pointless. Stop trying. This is called learned helplessness. Psychologist Martin Seligman discovered it in 1967. When animals were repeatedly exposed to outcomes they couldn't control, they stopped trying. Even when the conditions changed, even when escape was possible, they just laid down. Sound familiar? The couch isn't comfort, it's neurological surrender. Your brain has stopped producing dopamine for future outcomes because it no longer believes outcomes exist. You're not lazy. Your reward system is offline. So unemployment floods your brain with cortisol and drains it of dopamine. But the third mechanism is the one that erases who you are. Here's something most people never consider. Your brain doesn't just store memories and process emotions. It stores your identity. And a disturbingly large portion of that identity is tied to your work. A study from the University of Stirling found that prolonged unemployment leads to significant decreases in conscientiousness and agreeableness. Two core personality traits. Not mood changes, personality changes. Unemployment doesn't just change how you feel, it changes who you are. And neuroscience explains exactly how. The default mode network, a set of brain regions active when you're not focused on the outside world, is responsible for self-reflection, identity, and narrative. It's the part of your brain that answers, "Who am I?" When you have a job, the narrative is clear. I'm an engineer. I'm a teacher. I'm someone who provides. When that's taken away, the default mode network goes into overdrive. But it has no story to tell. So it starts looping, ruminating, replaying failures, not solving problems, creating them. The unemployed brain doesn't go quiet. It goes loud, with the wrong frequency. It replays rejection. It rehearses shame. It builds a new identity, not around what you can do, but around what you've lost. I'm nobody. I'm a burden. I'm falling behind. That's not depression talking. That's the default mode network, rewriting your story without your permission. So cortisol shrinks your brain. Dopamine abandons it. And your identity network rewrites your story into a tragedy. But here's what the research also shows. Every mechanism I just described is reversible. Cortisol shrinks the hippocampus, but neuroplasticity can rebuild it. 30 minutes of exercise floods the brain with BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, the protein that repairs and grows new neural connections. Dopamine shuts down from learned helplessness, but it can be restarted. Not with a job, with micro-completions. Finishing a small task, cleaning a room, writing one page. Your brain doesn't need a paycheck to restart the reward loop. It needs proof that effort produces change. And the default mode network, the one rewriting your identity into a tragedy, you can overwrite it. With a new narrative. Not, I'm unemployed, but I'm under construction. Sound familiar? The damage is real. The science is clear. Unemployment attacks your memory, your motivation, and your identity simultaneously. But your brain was never designed to stay broken. It was designed to rebuild. The question was never whether your brain could recover. The question is whether you'll give it a reason to. Same brain, different input. The reconstruction starts the moment you decide it does. If this made you see unemployment differently, share it with someone who needs to hear this right now. And subscribe, because every week, we decode the neuroscience behind the struggles nobody else explains.